back.
Hi everyone, it's Amanda here. If you are new to my channel, a big warm welcome to you. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back home. 1,000 apologies goes out to you guys for not having posted any content last week Sunday. Reason being, my daughter was away on holiday and she recently came back. And I needed to invest some time in her, in our relationship as mother and daughter. And I'm pretty sure most of you who are parents to children will really understand the importance of doing just that. So in any event, the time that I've spent, the quality time that we spent together really gave me this idea of actually talking about parent and child relationships this week. So basically, as per usual, I'm looking forward to your comments. I'm looking forward to you guys sharing about how you harness the relationships with your kids and workable ideas that you can share with the rest of us on what has worked for you guys, what hasn't, and how to handle certain situations better than others, etc., etc. Because in the end, we're all here to learn, we're all here to grow, but most importantly, we're here to respect each other, to respect each other's opinions, to not be judgmental for any reason whatsoever, because this is a platform where we tell it like it is, but whilst remaining very sensitive to others, you know. So basically, as my daughter was away, it was something else. Like, we've never really spent time away from one another, at least not as much time as we did this year. Well, let me say last year, because she left just before the festive season. So it was actually quite good for me as a parent, you know, to spend time, you know, like refocusing, realigning myself and doing things that are important to me. But at the same time, it was like, for the first time, I was like, I've got time, free time in my hands. What do I do with it? So it was an awesome, bittersweet moment, because there were times when I just really just want to creep up in bed and, you know, 2 a.m. in the morning, you know, kind of miss that little person who just creeps up, and next thing I know, I've got a foot in my mouth, or somebody has punched me on the neck or on the stomach, you know. So, you know, we miss these little whims, you know, with our little people, but at the same time, we do need to also realize that they are growing older, and we need to obviously evolve as they change as well, to just try and harness and maintain evolving and ever-changing flexible relationships going ahead. Otherwise, we lose our kids and we'll lose focus basically as parents, and they'll have less trust in us. So it made me, you know, it got me thinking that for as much as we're parents to our children, sometimes we take it for granted that they're there. You know, we take it for granted. I mean, for those that have raised more than one kid, you know, they tend to have this misconception rather, that they know what they're doing, and if I've raised one kid, I know how to raise the next. But it is true that all kids are different. All kids have different personality traits. I mean, I come from a family of 3 girls and 1 boy. So I do know that all of us are so different. It's not even funny. So it wouldn't have been fair for my parents to raise us all in the same way. And, you know, I'm grateful every day for the way in which they raised us, because I think they did try the best that they could, and knowing what they knew, and, you know, at the time, to actually give us each individual ways of actually dealing with us, you know, which actually worked out quite cool. But in any event, being a parent of a 10-year-old, a girl, you know, you see them go through the changes, you see them going through the molds, etc., etc. And as a parent, it's important to me to actually just realize that these young people are actually, at that age specifically, they're quite impressionable, you know, and they're going through a phase where they start looking at you as a parent. Like, let's say you're a mom and you're raising a girl child. She starts looking at you and thinking, okay, so you become her reference, of what she'll look like, of what she'll act like when she's older. So they look at you when you put on your makeup, if you are a person that wears makeup, if the way you do your hair, the way you dress, etc., etc. So it is very important that we really watch how we present ourselves, how we actually put ourselves out there into the world, etc., etc., because they are quite impressionable people. And the one thing that I've noticed with us parents is that, let's just, typical scenario or example, like let's say, for example, because we all know it's very important to have boundaries with kids, it's important to have a set of rules to make sure that things are done properly the way that they need to be done. Let's say you've identified or have put down a set of rules that, okay, lunchtime, breakfast is at this time, lunch is at this time, dinner is at this time, bath time is at an X period of time, and bedtime is at this time. And you'll find maybe your kid, when it's supposed to be time to, let's say, go to bed, she's lying on the couch with the remote in her hand. What is the first thing that you do? Particularly the easiest, also taking into cognizance the fact that as they grow up, they become their own people. But sometimes we actually miss it a little there because we're so used to them being these little kids, babies, so to speak, that we believe that we just tell them what to do and things will be done. But as they grow up, you realize that they start developing a character of their own. So it's important to actually look into that and really just nurture that and harness that before, you ruin your child and ruin the relationship. There's a saying that if you raise a healthy child, you raise a healthy community, and a healthy community is a healthy world. So it all starts at home. Charity begins at home. So going back to my experience and my journey with my kid, I realized this not so long ago, that it's important when you're raising children to just make sure that you focus on fact rather than to start lashing out at how you feel. So it's important to take time. Just take that breath, or don't speak when you're angry, just so you do not damage that little person's morale or self-esteem. Like, for example, typical example, let's say you find your kid lying on the couch, channel surfing when it's time for them to probably wash the dishes or do their chores, whatever chores you give them to do. The first instinct some parents have is to lash out, you are lazy. Why are you not doing A, B, C, and D? I mean, look at you, you're stupid, you're this, you're this, you're that. Like a label on a mayonnaise bottle won't do stick with these little people. And it's important to really watch what we say to them, because this could make or break who they later on become in their adult life. So I found that in my experience, it's very important to focus on facts. Let's say, same scenario, I find my kid like that. I would probably then just ask them to switch the TV off and ask them, look, according to what the set of rules have stipulated, what are you actually supposed to be doing now? And let them tell you what it is that they need to be doing. That way, they're able to stick with by you being able to stick with the facts, they're able to be accountable and hold themselves accountable for what they've done or what they've not done. That way, you are raising a healthy individual who knows how to take responsibility for his or her actions. And I mean, as a parent, I think we all have our different styles. Yes, there's no manual, but some people, myself included, at times I will include brownie points. Let's say, for example, all chores are being done, then I allow maybe an extra or additional time to screen time. But bear in mind that this is not the norm. Like, it's not something that they should expect me to do, because at the end of the day, when your children do what they need to do, we need not reward them, because otherwise they grow up thinking and believing that the world operates on a reward system. And there's nothing worse when your kid actually walks out there and they find out that life and reality is not as they have been raised at home. So basically, we are preparing them at home. We prepare them at home to go on out there and actually deal with the real world, with what's out there and what awaits them. A friend of mine, we were just chatting. We have children that are the same age, and we were just chatting about the ins and outs and how they've managed to actually harness and maintain a healthy and workable relationship between themselves and their kid, etc., etc. And they said something so interesting to me, that you need to make sure at all times that you engage yourself and immerse yourself into the life of your kid. Kids are quite impressionable, and they're very smart, and they say the best time to actually teach a child to do anything is when they're still young. You'll find, take for example, I took my daughter for a surfing lesson. First lesson, she was already, breezing and crashing those waves. I was so impressed. I couldn't believe it, because it was actually the first time, and she was just, she superseded my expectations. So immersing ourselves in the lives of our kids is very important, because then you get to know who your kid is. You get to know what they really and truly enjoy. Not only, but the most important part is that, you teach them from a very young age that they can do anything they put their mind into. Because how is a kid, or how is a person supposed to know they're able to do something unless or otherwise they are exposed to it and they actually experience themselves doing that? So I think it's very important to teach our kids to break glass ceilings, as opposed to being afraid to try out new things. We should actually not box our kids, not put them into these boxes with labels. We should actually just let them embrace life in its fullness, and actually believe they can do anything they want to do. But in a nutshell, it's a learning process. There is no recipe. There is no manual on how to raise a kid. We all do the best we can. We all try and get the best advice we can from friends, from family, from professionals, etc., etc. The best we can do is just, I do believe in the end that as a parent, instinctively, you know what it is that your kid needs. You know instinctively how, and we do the best that we can as parents. And I wish you all the best with you and your kids, and an amazing journey awaits us as parents, to get to know. And remember, we learn from them as much as they're learning from us. Anywho, I'm looking forward to your comments. I'm looking forward to your insights. Have a lovely Sunday, and God bless. Bye-bye.